Hi there and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Richard. And in this video I'm going to explain the difference between using a yoke versus a joystick, and more specifically how that applies to flying the Cirrus jet. So when I first started flying, all I had was the joystick that you see above here. It's a nice joystick. It's a really good joystick. It's a fairly inexpensive joystick, about $60 or $70. And I flew that probably 2 or 3 months before I decided I'd try a yoke. And once I tried the yoke, I liked it, and now I'm using it for most, but not all airplanes. So I still use the Logitech Extreme 3D joystick for 4 of my airplanes. First, the Stenson L5 is a very fun, light, old military tail dragger. It's a great airplane to fly with a joystick. The Cessna 172 Basic, I still fly with a joystick. The Aerolite 103 Light Sport is a great airplane to fly with a joystick. It has a joystick. And lastly, the A37 slash T37 Dragonfly will still be using my joystick. So my first recommendation for you is you should decide yoke versus joystick, or both as I have, based on your comfort level, your experience, and just what you feel comfortable with. I started out in college learning to fly a Cessna 152, and that had a yoke. And then I was a U.S. Air Force pilot, where I learned to fly the T-37 and T-38 that had a joystick. And so I got comfortable with both. My second recommendation is based on what you can afford. When I first started out with X-Plane, all I spent was about $60 to buy the software and put it on my existing MacBook. And so I bought a $60 joystick, figuring it's a good joystick. Have friends that use it, and so that worked fine for me for a while. So the joystick does have its pluses and minuses. On the one hand, you can use just one hand and do a lot of stuff with that one hand, while your other hand is manipulating the keyboard, and that worked fine for me. One of the minuses is you only have one throttle, and you don't have a mixture knob or other engine knobs, and you're also limited to a small number of buttons on the joystick. The yoke, on the other hand, has lots of buttons and levers and stuff with it, and it's really quite nice for more sophisticated airplanes. One of the nice things about it I like is you can fly it with either hand, and that leaves, sometimes I fly it with my left hand because I have a numeric keypad over on for my right hand. Sometimes I'm flying with my right hand, and it leaves my left hand to use the keys on my MacBook to make changes. The yoke has several nice features because it has 2 hat switches, 2 rocker buttons, buttons for putting the gear and flaps up and down, and the steering is sometimes, people say that it's more natural. So lastly, I want to explain why I use the yoke for the Cirrus jet. The first reason is because it has the 2 hats and the 2 rocker buttons that are easily usable while holding the joystick. The other reason is that the throttle seems to be more sensitive, and you can set precise airspeed and hold precise airspeed with the throttle on the yoke. There is one downside to the yoke, and I show it to you above my yoke, and that's that the yoke has to be clamped to the edge of a table. Now I sit in a tilt back chair, and so I do use this yoke, but I had to attach a board for it to attach to, and the tilt table puts it at exactly the right angle for me while I'm sitting in my tilt back chair. So in this video, I hope I have given you some good information to make an informed decision about which to use. And it may turn out that you do buy both, as I have, because sometimes the yoke works better for some airplanes, and the joystick certainly works better for other airplanes. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please stay tuned for more.